everyone, I'm Jane and I am one of the Stone Soup team teaching this summer's creative food writing class, and I thought I'd spend some time with Naomi today just going through some of the things that we're going to talk about during the course and have a bit of fun with a lemon. We chose a lemon as a simple, straightforward, single item to focus on because we can use that to approach all of our senses. I did manage to get to the market and find a beautiful lemon whose leaves had actually fallen off, but anyway, I can put them on. And so I have one beautiful lemon. I also have one rather kind of knobbly, misshapen lemon who I kind of took to when I saw it in the shop. I thought, you know, it's almost like it's got a funny little tail and a pair of legs or something. You know, I thought I could tell some really silly stories about that lemon. And then I just got some regular ones as well.
What I find so interesting is when I think of a lemon, I think of pure yellow and I think round. But this lemon and none of the lemons that you showed us are round, first of all. They're, you know, kind of oval, but most of them, mine has a tail too. And they're not entirely yellow. There's yellow and some parts that are more like yellow orange and maybe, even some green.
Yes, the other thing about my misshapen one that I liked was that it had quite a bit of green on it.
Bumpy a little bit, but very smooth. I feel like I could walk around holding this lemon and I would feel very comforted.
Yes, it's true. When you're looking at it closely, sorry, I'm going to move my glasses. It's really dimpled. There are lots and lots of little, like almost like not holes, but pinholes, almost like someone's tapped it with a needle or something. So it looks as though it could feel quite rough, but when you feel it, you can't feel every one of those holes because they're so tiny, but you feel a slight unevenness, but it's smooth at the same time. This one's wet, and if I feel it, then you can hear the sound of the squeaking lemon. I guess when you think about what a lemon tastes like, you have an immediate response to that, don't you?
I do. It's a sharp, sometimes sour taste.
Indeed it is. But then that's only the juice. When we're talking about cooking or preparing the lemon in other ways, then you can do all sorts of different things with it that make it taste different to that. I mean, the obvious one is lemonade. If you make Moroccan preserved lemons, where you cut open the lemon, stuff it with salt, and then squeeze it in a jar with lots of other lemons, so it's in salt and lemon juice, and you leave it for a month. Weirdly, this sour, sharp lemon mixed with salt makes a preserved peel that you can eat that's kind of sweet. One of the things I wanted to focus on is the sense of smell, because curiously enough, your sense of smell is more important in the way that you experience your food than your sense of taste is. Your tongue feels sensations, but your sense of smell is what gives you all the other sensations. So your tongue gets salt and sweet and sour. So it does get some of the lemon. But then all those kind of zesty smells, if you scratch this lemon's peel and then sniff it, you know what that tastes like in your mouth just by smelling it. But also all that experience is coming from your sense of smell. One of the amazing things about your sense of smell is that it's connected directly to your brain and to the part of your brain where your memories are formed and stored. So a lot of writers in writing that isn't only about food, about anything, can use smell, and it's often the smell of food, like a favorite food or that lovely smell of the skin of the lemon, will remind you of something. The smell can remind you of a place, or it can remind you of a person, or it can take you back to an experience that you had in the past, or it can put your character really clearly in a particular place at a particular time. Whenever I smell fresh mint, just after it's rained or when it's wet, if I've got some and I've rinsed it before I'm going to use it in something, it always makes me think of my grandmother. Whenever she made roast lamb, we would have mint sauce, and I would be the one that would go in the garden to pick the mint and bring it back into the kitchen, and we'd make the mint sauce together. And it just always makes me think of her. In a recipe, you're probably really just giving factual information. But in the introduction to that recipe, if it's a lemon cake, for example, then you probably want to you'll be writing something that we call the head note. That's like a very short, just a little introduction to the recipe. And that's where you express your voice as a cookery book writer. And you might just be a cookery book writer who's teaching someone, and you're just saying, well, you can make sure you've got all your ingredients, and you've heated up the oven, and just get that cake made. But most cookery writers want to communicate a little bit more romantically or expressively with their readers. So they might tell a story about where they found that recipe or where they first tasted it. They might talk about who they got the recipe from. The other kinds of ways you might write about food is you might write a review of something, like you'd write a book review or a movie review. You could write a review of a meal that you had. I don't know, your parents might be slightly offended if you write them a bad review of dinner at home, but if you write them a good review, they might love it. If you're in a restaurant, then you're going to be writing using all your powers of description and sense of place to bring your reader into that restaurant with you, so they understand what the atmosphere is like, what the staff are like, what the table looks like, how it is to read the menu. Was there a spelling mistake on the menu? I always like spotting those. You're bringing your reader with you, making them feel as though they'd been with you at the meal. What I want you to do now is to smell the lemon really deeply. Take a really deep breath, and you can scratch the peel again, and then just sit quietly with your eyes closed with that smell. You've got some of the oil from the skin on your hands, and just see what it makes you remember and write about that. Well, Naomi, it was really fun doing this with you today. And if you want to do more, or if people watching this video would like to do some more, having got a little taste of what might be in store for you, then join us at the Food Writing Summer Camp, which we're holding in conjunction with Young Inklings in July this year.